Charge!
Season of Mastery is about to end, and players can transfer their characters off, either to Era or to Wrath. Personally, I transferred mine to Era, and I'm not sure why anyone would want to transfer a level 60 to Wrath when there's already level 80s who are already in Nax, but hey, you do you. Please note that there was what Blizzard is calling a bug, and they have stopped the transfers until November 1st, where they will be. The bug is that you cannot transfer a horde to a server where you have an alliance or vice versa. That's not a bug, that's just how PvE servers work in Classic. So does that mean that Blizzard is now going to allow horde and alliance on the same account on a PvP server? Seems to be the case. Now, if you don't know what SOM is, or Era for that matter, it might be helpful to look at this timeline because it can get a little bit confusing with all the different versions of Classic. So here we have WoW Classic. This was released in 2019. If we follow along this timeline, sometime in 2021, we have the Burning Crusade and the pre-patch that came out. Now, when the pre-patch came out, you could take your level 60s and either send them to Classic Era so that they could stay level 60 forever and live the glory days. That's what I did. Or you could just continue on and go to Outland where there's spaceships and stuff. Pew pew. You could do both. However, only one was for free, and if you wanted to do both, there was a cost per character, which prohibited a lot of people from doing that. Really bad move, Blizzard. Really bad move. Around this time in the Burning Crusade, this is when Season of Mastery came out. And then you've basically, for the last year, you've had 3 classic timelines running parallel, right? You had the Burning Crusade playing out. You had Classic Era, which is what I'm on, and Season of Mastery. Now, Season of Mastery is coming to a close, and players can transfer off, similarly to how players could, choose what path they wanted to go on over here. So now you can go from Season of Mastery to Classic Era, da-ding, or Wrath of the Lich King. Anyways, like I said, back to the SOM stuff. Now, on November 16th, 2021, that is when SOM came out, Season of Mastery, which was a fresh Classic experience that would only last 1 year instead of 2, so it's a quicker timeline. The pacing would be faster in all ways, such as the leveling speed, and content from later phases would be available on release, such as the ranking system was available on launch, as was the tier 0.5 quests and Dire Maul. So you could say that SOM had a very different gearing path than Classic, which was basically ranking in Alterac Valley. The ranking speed was twice, if you were standing 1, it would take you 12 weeks to get rank 14. But if you were standing 1, it would take 6 weeks on SOM. But it was just as grueling time-wise because ranking was very competitive. It was the best gear, so a lot of hours for ranking in Classic. You need to have the most honor out of everyone else if you want to progress quickly, and of course you can work together and have brackets and such, but that wasn't really happening. Interestingly enough, this change to honor ranking was added to Classic Era. I think the devs sometimes make a change on SOM and it accidentally happens as well on Classic Era. Currently, some SOM items are dropping in Classic Era. It's a bit of an issue. I play on Classic Era. I just love the game. I did start on Season of Mastery, so let me give you my SOM experience. Prior to playing on Classic Era, I leveled up on SOM. I was not sure if I was going to play. We'll talk later about the idea of World of Warcraft really even working well, seasonally. I had joined the Discords for the different SOM servers, feeling it out, and I saw some familiar faces from my Classic guild. They were one of the top guilds of the server that I played on. They were going to start on Barman Shanker, which was a PvP realm, but it was kind of like a smaller one. It wasn't like the big Jomgabar realm. And so that's where I went. All right, let's take a quick look at Season of Mastery amount of guilds who actually, were playing the game, and compare that to Classic release in 2019. So I played on Barman Shanker, and there were basically 10 guilds who were able to clear Molten Core. Took some of them a little while. We can't really count these two here. And if we click on this here, we did one and only raid, and my time in Season of Mastery ended. There I am, Malik. And yeah, after that raid, that guild called it quits. And then at that point, I decided to quit because I thought everything was just dying. It turns out all these guilds continued on, and they did well. They cleared it. However, if we look at Barman Shanker, they continued on in Blackwing Lair, and then they left and they transferred to Jom Gabar. And we look at Blackwing Lair progress. We went from 10 guilds to, that old water. They cleared Molten Core, but only 2 guilds cleared Blackwing Lair in Barman Shanker. So a stark difference. This is where we see things are starting to fall apart. If we just look at every region, Season of Mastery, 442 for Molten Core, 386 for Blackwing Lair. Molten Core and Classic was 31,507. If we look at Season of Mastery for AQ40, US, 37 guilds, 34 guilds for EU, and 9 guilds on Korea, and 157 on AQ40 for China. As you can see, majority is Alliance. We'll just look at Nax real quick. All regions, Nax, 85 guilds, fully clearing it in Nax. All regions, not just like NA or something. If we look at Classic, it's 16,367. Numbers are hard to say. What can I tell you? Season Mastery attempted to make other specs a little bit more viable. We do have a boomkin here. Oh wait, no, that's a feral druid. My friend was in this guild, Paco. I ranked with him in Classic. Unfortunately, this bugger went to Wrath of the Lich King. What are you thinking, dude? MVP Cutie Cam Girl, they're on Era now. They transferred from SOM to Era. So definitely would recommend transferring to Era so you can help MVP Cutie Cam Girl, because I'll be killing them. And again, we can look at this guild, Alliance guild on Nax. It's all warriors, it's all rogues, mages. It's the same sort of comp. So Season of Mastery didn't succeed in changing what classes were brought. I followed along with the success of other guilds, watching people's hardcore characters die, whether it was out in the world while questing, raiding, whatever it may be. For me, SOM was a cool concept that would have been really cool if it worked out differently for me. Maybe if I had played on Jom Gabar. Who knows? But when I quit SOM, I still had the itch for Classic. Had no interest in the Burning Crusade. No interest in Wrath. And I found a forum post saying, come play on White Mane Era, and the rest is history. I'm having so much fun playing my super geared rank 13 warrior with Thunder Fury. I even leveled up a Paladin and Rogue and got them to rank 14 on Classic Era. But back to the SOM topic. On stream the other day, a viewer asked me, do I think there will be an SOM 2? And I gave them my thoughts. Let me just rehash them here. First of all, Blizzard said that they do want to do more seasons. Let me give you some ideas for what I thought other seasons could entail. And then let's discuss how well WoW even works seasonally. When SOM first came out, it was called Season of Mastery. Emphasis on mastery. So that begs the question, would there be an SOM 2, Or would there be a season of, blank, where the focus of that season is something else? How about Season of Blood, where it's all about PvP? There's some changes to the PvP ranking system, which, in Classic is super time intensive and rewards time rather than skill. However, if it was PvP oriented, it doesn't really help the hardcore players. Try to get to level 60 without dying and PvP. Or how about Season of Role Playing?
So, how does this work? I think we get naked. Let's never speak of that again.
Maybe not. What about Season of Questing? Or Season of Leveling? Season of Adventure, where it's all about the adventure, the community, the journey, a slower leveling pace rather than a quick one. Because people love fresh. Look at Wrath Fresh. A lot of people who had level 70s on the Burning Crusade made a fresh character. The journey of leveling, gearing up, meeting people, world PvP. People love it. What if there was a season where it was all about the journey and not the destination? Because that brings us to the topic of, does WoW work well seasonally? I also play Diablo 2, and games like that work really well seasonally. You level up fast, you gear up, somewhat fast, and you can log in, play for 30 minutes, and get a little grind session in. But 30 minutes of WoW is just checking your mail and flying over to where you were last questing and maybe getting a quest or two done. When SOM came out, I scratched my head and I asked myself, do I want to level up again? Get Thunder Fury, get a high PvP rank, do all of these things. It's a lot of work. Part of me said yes. My sleep schedule said no. I think people love the leveling aspect, but the gearing and raiding, that's where seasonally things seem to kind of fall off, or at least it did for SOM. Would a leveling only season work? Am I crazy? What do you think? Will there be a WoW Classic Cataclysm? I hope not. Bleh. I had some fun times in Cataclysm, but it's a no for me on Cataclysm. So when Wrath ends, will they repeat the cycle every 6 years? Will there be an SOM 6 months from now that will happen in Wrath? SOM release during Trial of the Crusader could be good because the game is kind of at a lull at that point in Wrath. Honestly, it sort of died for me in Ulduar for a bit too. I mean, I love Ulduar, but I also found that patch sort of dragged on. So maybe a classic seasonal experience would be cool during Wrath at some point. What would it look like? Gosh, who knows? But I think if one did come out, I might be more interested in doing the hardcore thing. Slow down, enjoy the journey. And it would be less about gearing that character up and more about just enjoying the leveling journey. I don't know. What do you think? Would you want another season? Did you play the first season? I gave it my college try, but it just didn't work out for me. And I'm just having a blast on Classic Era. So for now, I'll be playing Classic Era. If you have a Season of Mastery character, I would recommend you transfer to Classic Era. A bunch have already done so. A bunch of SOM players are on Classic Era now. They're playing with us. They're raiding with us. They're PvPing with us. We've got some sweaty SOM PvPers in the battlegrounds here to dominate us Era fools and show us what's up. Bring it. Bring it, SOM people. I'll see you in the battlegrounds. Classic Era is classic forever. So if you went through all that work and geared up a level 60 character, wouldn't you want it on Classic Era where that character could live forever and you could play as much or as little as you want? You could come to every single raid and be a PvE hero, or maybe you just log in once in a while and, stomp us noobs in the battlegrounds. It's up to you. Or you could transfer to Wrath, level up, delete all your gear, and don't do that. That doesn't sound like fun. All right, thanks so much for watching. I just wanted to give a little quick review of Season of Mastery, give my experience playing it. I know it's not the full experience. It would have been cool if it was, but that's just not how it worked out. Maybe in future seasons, it will. I will play the whole thing. Who knows? For now, I'm going to keep doing my thing in Era, and if you have any interest in playing Era, hop on in. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you like what you saw, please like and comment below. I will respond to you. Or check me out on Twitch. I am streaming now. Dwarf Lord TV. Dwarf Lord out.